everyone, Angie here. Welcome to my living room. I wanted to share with you today a short practice for sciatica. So we might just do 3 or 4 different moves for sciatica that kind of cover all the bases of what the cause of sciatica might be. So it could be a piriformis impingement, which means that the sciatic nerve that runs through the muscles of the outer hip don't have enough space, and that's where they get pinched or impinged, and that causes the sensation all down the back of the leg. That's so fun. Not. And sometimes that's not the cause of your sciatica. Sometimes the cause of sciatica originates in the low back discs where the nerves pass, or there's an impingement of the nerve in the spine area. So essentially, without getting into too many details, so it could be originating there. So we're going to do a combination of hip stretches and then one sort of back extension, so that both of those things can cover whichever your source of your sciatica is. And we might throw in other couple juicy little fun ones too. So I'm going to start with my go-to, my absolute quintessential favorite, sciatic stretch. And I do this for myself when my own sciatica flares up, and it nips it right in the bud. So we're going to start just by placing the left foot flat on the floor, cross the right ankle on top of the left knee, and I'm going to show you how I've flexed that foot. This pinky edge of this foot is pulling down towards the knee. So sometimes people flex the foot, they pull the big toe down, but then they forget about the pinky edge. So I want you to pull the pinky edge down towards the knee and then cross it here. So the first stage of this is just to take your right hand on your right knee and gently press the knee forward towards the foot of your mat. Now, when you do that, some people are going to feel a sizable, decent stretch in this outer hip area, and some people are going to be like, what's this? I don't feel a thing. So if you're in that what's this, don't feel a thing position, then what you can do is start to lift this foot onto books or a block or a bolster, the left foot that's on the floor, raise it up a little bit, and then you get sort of this medium ground. This was a modification that a student actually taught me in class. I think she just invented it herself to make it work for her. Super smart person, by the way. You know who you are. And so that's the second stage. You might have your foot on a blanket or a bolster or a block. And that might give you the stretch that you're looking for. You're looking for a little bit of sensation in that outer hip that you can breathe into. For those that are more open, you might not feel it with the foot a little off the floor. You might need to bring the foot right up. The more you bring this right shin towards your chest, the deeper this stretch is here, right? So we all have our different threshold to where the edge of our stretch is. So it's important that you find the spot that's the sweet spot for you, where you're like, oh yeah, there it is, I found it. And then you hang out there and you breathe, okay? So I'm doing a variation where I have one hand on my knee and one hand on my heel right here. I kind of like this variation sometimes because I can use those fingers to assist in pulling this whole apparatus towards my chest. At the same time, it keeps my front body open, right? So I'm not scrunching up here. You can, if you want to, also take the right hand between and interlace it with the left hand behind the thigh or on top of the shin. It's also a nice version as well. The other thing you can do while you're here, and we're flexing this foot here so that the knee is in alignment while we stretch the hip. So if the foot was torqued this way, it would pull more on the outer ligament of the back of the knee. And then sometimes it can cause misalignment in the knee and not target the hip stretch that we're looking for. So just keep that foot nice and happy. Spread your toes. And we're going to do a breath called the honeybee breath. It's a humming sound. It's called Brahmari breath, and it's very effective for stimulating circulation in the area that you're stretching, releasing stress on a cellular level. So many different goodies we get through this breath, but it really does help, especially if you're in an intense stretch. It helps you to sort of ride that out and enjoy it while you're there. So the only instruction is your teeth are slightly apart, no touching of the teeth, have the gap, and then we'll make a long hum with the attention in this area that you feel the stretch. So big breath in, feel the inhale, fill the lungs. Make a long hum. Ooh. I've been in this side for quite a while, so go ahead and release that. And I want to say that in the beginning, you might not hold these for as long. You might hold them for 2 shorter spurts, or you might do like the gentle version for a few breaths and then the deeper version for a few breaths. And then if it becomes too much and you need to release, just listen to your body and go back to the first step. Okay, let's trade sides. Change sides. So now the left ankle's crossing on top. Flex your foot, spread your toes. Use that left hand to gently press the knee forward towards the foot end of the mat. Get familiar with your breath. Get used to using deep breathing. So you're oxygenating while you're stretching and strengthening. Maya, my kitty, it's windy and cold. She really wants to go outside, and then she doesn't want to go outside. Take this side to wherever you need to, wherever your edge is. Maybe that's foot on a block. Maybe that's the first stage. You're getting enough sensation there to work with it. If you're not feeling anything, then starting to play with lifting the foot off the floor. You could be hand on the heel and on the knee if you want to. But again, you're just looking for that sensation in the outer left hip and the deep 6 muscles. Another thing you can do with sciatica is that helps for a lot of people is roll on a tennis ball, where you put the tennis ball right at the top of the hip here. You can do that as well. So find where your pose wants to be, where you want to play with it. And just keep in mind that one side can feel way different than the other. Like for me, this side is my tight side due to a past injury. And so you might spend twice as much time on the side that's tight if there's a lot of asymmetry. So I'm basically just entertaining you here while we do the stretch, trying to kill time, because lots of times people will do stretches for too short of an amount of time. Maya, honey, come, Maya. And then they wonder why they're not increasing in flexibility. And really, they say that we need to be there for 90 seconds, which can be quite challenging, especially if you're doing hamstrings or something. And so that's why, another reason why the honeybee breath is really helpful. It also helps to elongate our exhale, which causes a relaxation response. Oh, there's so many good things about it. So let's do a honeybee on this side, and we can increase the efficacy of the honeybee by putting our attention right into the sweet spot where you're feeling the stretch, okay? So let's do one. Teeth are apart. Take a full breath in. Gently release, place the foot back down, and just take a moment. Let the knees lean together. Just take a moment for that to digest. You can do windshield wipers if you want to. It's a big stretch, and that stretch can also help with tightness in the low back and even low back discomfort and pain. We're going to roll over and come up to the belly. Because the hip is connected to the back, right? So sometimes when the hips are tight in the back or the front of the hip, it has a way of pulling the pelvis out of alignment. So if you're tight in the front, it's going to shorten this way. If you're tight in the back, it's going to shorten this way and pull your spine out of its neutral. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and come down to the belly next and do a flying bird and then a cobra. So flying bird is the easiest one, where you bring your arms down beside your body. The feet can be a little bit apart, yeah, maybe hip distance apart. We're gonna lift the hands, the feet, and the head all together on our inhale breath. And I want you to have your hands so the palms are facing the front, like of your mat, facing the head, with the thumbs pointing up, like you're hitchhiking a ride through the galaxy, okay? So we're gonna do this with breath. So we'll exhale all the way out. And as you inhale, lift your hands, your feet, your head, hitchhiking, spread your fingers and your toes. Exhale, slowly release and come back down. Good, and again, inhale, curl up. Exhale, curl back down. Good, last one, we're gonna inhale, curl up. Hold here, keep breathing. Now, if for any reason this doesn't feel comfortable in your low back, if you're experiencing discomfort there, just release the pose, but make sure you're breathing. If you're holding the pose, we'll inhale, exhale, lifting the heart, spreading toes, smiling. And then as you exhale, release and rest the head on the hands for a moment. You can bend your knees and just gently sway the shins from side to side. Good. Beautiful. Okay, so we're just going to do one cobra here. And the reason these extensions, these back bends are helpful if the disc is the source of the sciatica is because it helps to sort of, if we have a little bit of a bulged disc, for example, it's going to touch on the nucleus, the innards of the disc, which is kind of like the jelly inside a donut, is going to kind of blurb out and it tickles or touches the nerve, and that's what causes that sensation down the back of the leg. So when we do extensions, what it helps to do is sort of pull any bulged disc back into the center of the disc away from the nerve. And I know this because I've had it myself, and my doctor, my physio, gave me this pose as part of my therapy. So I have some firsthand knowledge of this situation. So you're gonna bring your hands down beside your ribs, your toes are pointing straight back. Draw the shoulders up, press your toenails down. So this is key and important that we're gonna activate the legs. You'll feel your knees lift. And then you're gonna squeeze your belly and tip your pelvis forward. So it feels like you're pressing your pubic bone down. Squeezing the glutes a little, right? So this is firming up in the buttocks a little bit. Lift your shoulders and inhale, curl the upper body up. And we're not even using our hands really, we're just using our back. And then as you exhale, slowly curl back down. Keep the legs active, keep the scooping tailbone action here in the pubic bone and belly drawing in. Again, we're gonna inhale, curl up. Good, exhale, curl down. You got this, we're gonna do one more and then option to hold. So inhale, curl up. If it feels okay to be here, breathe in, breathe out, and enjoy. If you feel like you need to come down, come down. And then one more breath. And then slowly exhale and release. And coming all the way down to the floor. Again, bend the knees. You can make a little pillow with your hands. And just slowly sway the shins if it's comfortable. Oh, so good. Getting lots of energy into the spine. It's such a great practice to do in the morning. And it doesn't take very long either. Good, so we're going to do a gentle push-up. You can use your forearms if you want to, or your hands, curl your toes under. Inhale, baby push-up, squeezing the belly. We'll just do a little counter pose of child's pose here just to balance the spine. So we did a little back bending there, so I'm just going to balance that with a little forward bend, a couple breaths there. Good, and then go ahead and come back up. And we're going to come back to laying on our back. So the third one I'm going to show you is simple laying twist. Now, if you have low back issues, twists can be contraindicated for certain low back disc conditions. So you want to be cautious with twists, but they can also be really helpful for stretching that outer hip for sciatica as well, right? So if you have no low back issues, or if you have low back issues and you're a little tentative, what you can do is just do some gentle windshield wipers here. So I'm running into the couch, but you're going to go to the right and then to the center and then to the left. If you don't have any low back issues and you feel okay about taking a deeper twist, what we're going to do is we're going to bring right knee into the chest, hold the right knee with your left hand. Good. You're going to press the left thigh down and flex the left foot and start to slowly roll this right knee across the body so you get the stretch in the outer hip here, yeah? The more this knee goes down, it sometimes causes the shoulder to come up. So it's sort of this interplay. You want to kind of play with keeping the shoulder fairly close to the floor. And you might feel this if you're tight in the shoulders, that your body's going to take the yoga into the shoulder instead of the hip. So for me, that's where I'm feeling it. But if you're really tight in here, you're more than likely going to get the stretch in that outer hip here area. And this is also the spot right here where you can put the tennis ball and lay on your back and roll on it. Good. So let's come back out of that. Come back to center. Bend your knees. Place your feet flat on the floor. If you are doing a tennis ball underneath there, what you would do is go into bridge pose like this. Put the tennis ball under just at the top of the hip here, and then roll it across side to side, just at the top of the glute right here. And lots of people find relief from that with sciatica. So let's do that twist on the other side. If you're doing just regular windshield wipers, that's great. Just keep going with that nice gentle twist. If you're feeling to go deeper, hug the left knee in. So you kind of want to squeeze your belly in here too. Flex your straight leg foot and press your thigh down. So that leg anchors you. You're engaged through the core. You're stabilized through the pelvis. Hold the left knee with your right hand. Squeeze the belly. Press that right leg down. And then slowly bring that leg across the body. Good. You can stretch the left arm out to the side. So this side's a lot tighter for me. It's really important that we breathe into the spots that we find that are challenging to get more release from the breath, more benefit from the oxygen in the breath. More flow of breath means more change, more readily, more quickly. Right? So you can take a couple of deep inhales through the nose and deep exhales through the mouth. So good. I'm still squeezing my belly in towards my spine, and you can see that I'm not putting my knee all the way down. Because if I do put my knee all the way down, look what happens to the shoulder. It pops up. So I want to keep support underneath that shoulder. One thing you can do is put a folded blanket under the shoulder if it starts to lift up. And then slowly, slowly coming back to center. All right. So I recommend doing just like a 4-minute Shavasana here. Let's just take a moment for constructive rest and just let that settle. See how that feels in there. Take a couple of nice belly breaths. Feel your belly expand as you inhale. Soften as you exhale. Bring a little smile to your face. And then go ahead and stretch out in Shavasana. Take a little rest just to allow that to integrate and settle in. Okay. When the arms rest beside the body, let the feet fall open. And just when you're in Shavasana, just give your mind a little task to do, like following the flow of your breath as it comes in and out of the body. If your mind is really active, you could count the breaths, inhaling 1, exhaling 1, inhaling 2, exhaling 2. And so on. Just allow your whole body to melt down. And thank you for joining me. Have a nice rest. Namaste.